Hello, listeners. Have you ever stopped and wondered why your life is the way it is, and at whatever stage you are in at this point of time? Have you ever bothered to assess your past or your current situation to ascertain, to consider if you are where you want to be, and if not, why? Every person has a unique story to tell, and it's really hard to find people who will open up and be honest about their lives, to tell you about their real opinions and reveal their perceptions about things. As often I find myself saying to people, I'm just saying what you're actually thinking in your mind, but cannot find the courage or are too polite for whatever reason to say it as it is. And it's because of this reason, amongst others, why this platform was formed in the first place. I find that a lot of topics about life are taboo to talk about, and I feel that this is how mental health issues are exacerbated due to people not wanting to talk and be open about their emotions and experiences. I guess to reveal what is the real problem or pain has to do with the fear of being judged, and with judgment comes the prospect of not being accepted, thus losing people in our lives. Human beings are phenomenal creatures, in my personal opinion. We can really endure pain. Sometimes it's physical pain and sometimes it's emotional pain, or it can be a combined pain with a mixture of both. And some of us can really rise to the challenge and go way above our adversities to recreate ourselves almost to the degree of superheroes. And you see these phenomenal souls rise up, especially when the shit really hits the fan. It's generally only when we experience great pain that we know what we are made of, whether we have the strength and tenacity as we fight our battles and inner demons, and more importantly, what we learn afterwards and who we become. Obviously, our conditioning and learned behaviors from childhood would contribute to our personalities as to how we manage adversities. But what I'm going to talk about is the inner strength within us and how we can change our world by just changing the way we perceive things. Believe it or not, it starts with our thoughts, and no matter how we were taught, we can still choose to change our mindset. Yes, that's right. I said the word choose. A rather simple word that for some people may not exist in their vocabulary, partly because of custom, culture, or religion, but primarily because they prefer to believe that they are unlucky souls, or that unfortunately the course of their lives are set in stone and they cannot possibly change things. In other words, they have wonderful excuses that they have used so far that it's no longer questionable by themselves and people in their lives. Well, what if I said that things are happening for us and not to us? What immediately comes to your mind? Be honest. How much of that sentence rings true to you? This is the part, if you've been operating on victim mentality, you'll turn this talk off right now. But if you haven't as yet, I challenge you to hear me out. You might have heard before the saying that things happen for a reason, and that there are no coincidences in life. Things happen to us to teach us a lesson. It's only when you stop being stubborn and start to take responsibility and take off your victim mentality hat that you may realize the lesson or lessons behind it. Some lessons are pretty obvious, but more often a lot of them are covert, especially more so when the same circumstances or things happen frequently in not exactly the same way, but still similar enough. Do you just assume that you are unfortunate and that life is unfair and therefore there is nothing you can do? Well, if you are stuck in this assumption, then guess what? This will only continue for you as you have convinced yourself that this is your fate and will manifest the same concerns repeatedly. The minute you hit realization on why they keep happening, that's when their lessons will be revealed. And once you actually learn the lessons and lose your ego, then you'll see that these situational problems are teaching you something, that once you learn to respond differently in your body, mind, and soul, you find that those problems will stop reoccurring. Reaching this level of self-awareness is holistic. It takes time. It requires you to contemplate on reoccurring problems in a different way. It also requires you to reconsider all that you've been doing so far, to see whether what you've been facing or seem to be constantly facing is trying to tell you something about you. More importantly is the notion that you are being punished by God. You are not. You are simply a human being going along a soul journey and life experience that helps you to become more aware of your own existence, to help you through emotional pain, to hopefully recognize that we are all constantly being taught lessons. Make no mistakes, things are happening for you to create awareness that the way you've been doing things is not working out for you and that you desperately need to make changes to make way for the new. New ways of thinking about situations and perhaps how you treat or respond to people and why, and new ways of thinking about why you keep attracting the same situations or type of people in your relationships. Take, for example, dating. You may find yourself always being in wrong relationships and think that it's your luck. But how about rethinking about the traits and characteristics of these people whom you've been attracted to, and what are the similarities and differences, and why you are attracted to them in the first place? What's the magnet that's pulling you towards the same personalities? Or perhaps it could be work situations where you find that you attract similar types of bosses that show you no respect, or colleagues who are toxic. The truth in the matter is, what are these types of situations trying to teach you? Don't you find it unusual that other people have different experiences and that they might be happier? Often, if you keep thinking that it's all about these people and nothing about you, nothing will change. Look not outside of yourself, but within. These experiences are happening so that you will find a pattern to unlock the reasons why you keep attracting the same habitual circumstances. My lived experiences have taught me that once I look within, I will find the answers. And it may initially take a while to learn how to think differently, but once you begin, it begins to take a life of its own. And you will see and understand the same patterns of destruction. And the beauty of learning from within is that you will also find that it's you who has ultimate control and can choose differently to change your experiences. It's not an easy process, but neither is it rocket science. Start by asking yourself different questions like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing that is similar, that is causing these things to happen all the time? I'll give you another example. I had a friend who was constantly attracting men with baggage. The strangest thing is, they would come to her with obviously different faces, different ages, and even nationalities, but they would all have almost the same problems, which would cause her to have the same experiences as she attracted a type of personality. One day, after a while of being single, I received a call from her saying that she met this new person, but he was not her usual type, but seemed quite nice in other ways. She was also saying that she was not as excited about him like she normally is when she meets someone new. Immediately, I told her that her type never ends up well. Perhaps she should give him a chance and to learn more about his personality, to see what he is made of, and most of all to give him a chance as he seemed keen on her. She did, and now they've been married for years and are happily committed to each other, and their relationship is healthy. And all she did was to change her perceptions of the type of men that she was always attracted to, but without much success. It's really about discovering the formula, your formula, that will ultimately bring to your life whatever it takes to satisfy your real inner needs. Lessons don't happen to you for no reason. That's why they're called lessons. They're happening to make you see patterns that you are repeating, and from that, hopefully, you will realize the changes that need to be made. So things are happening for you to make the necessary alterations that will make more sense once you begin to decipher the covert meanings that they embody. Then you will experience real changes and changes that matter. So change your thoughts and change your life. Like I always say, I find it hard to understand why change is such a fight within you if what you are currently experiencing is unhappiness. I mean, what have you got to lose? What do you think? Take the path less traveled and perhaps your life will change towards the positive? Or just stay stuck where you are and watch others who have awoken to self-awareness change their lives? Your life, your choice. I've been there and done that, and so I'm very aware of what has to be done, even if it seems initially quite daunting. I would be interested to hear your comments, and if you do resonate with what I'm talking about, please like, share, and subscribe and help my channel grow, as I'm determined to help people to reach their destination, whatever or wherever that may be. Thank you for your precious time in listening.